Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Riven. So we've made it to this age that Gin has been able to create, and we are imprisoned. We are around in this building, and I guess Gin is not here. There's a switch. There's a button. Is that going to be a doorbell to call Gin? I guess it is. We may have just triggered a bad ending. I'm not sure exactly what I learn or get from going to
I apologize for the cage.
To this area right now.
I'm afraid this situation has often required of me a more primitive code of conduct than I might otherwise have chosen. I am Gen. I assume you've heard of me. Yes. Well, I suspect you have acquired some false information of who I am now.
They should have paid this guy to voice act a lot of his journals.
Well, I'm sure he believes me to still be the depraved father I once was. Yes. I even tried to kill him once. God, if I had accomplished that, who knows what I would have become. A great father indeed, who tries to murder his own son. Thankfully, he trapped me on age 5, a prison of my own creation. No books, no precious inks, no ages to link to, nothing but my own foolish ambitions. That was 30 years ago. 30 years, 30 lifetimes, what does it matter? No sentence could be too harsh for the man I was. But I have changed. To be sure, the deeds of my past can never be completely atoned for, but my mission was an honorable one. I'm sorry, this is all a bit awkward. It's been a long time since I've attempted to persuade anyone of my intentions. Most of the people here have already made their minds up about me one way or another. I myself do not trust the words of most men, so I don't expect you to believe me. In the end, though, you may discover that I do have more than mere words to offer. Atris's choice of punishment has been hard on the people of Riven, and many have suffered because of it. The island has been steadily decaying for years, but according to my most recent measurements, it appears that the 5th age has entered its final days. Unless the villagers can be relocated soon, the island will collapse entirely and everyone will perish.
Well, the island will still collapse, even if they are relocated.
It appears that finally I'll be able to make some substantial amends to my past transgressions, especially in... Well, I'm afraid I've had some trouble with Catherine and the moiety.
That's the rebels.
In any society, there will always be a small percentage of the population with rebellious tendencies. Before Catherine appeared, the moiety, as they call themselves, had been relatively harmless. I mean, the natives here are a fairly violent people by nature, but I'd almost come to accept their presence. It seemed inevitable under the circumstances. Upon Catherine's return, however, their violence intensified considerably. It seems she's become some sort of religious savior to them. And as far as I can tell, she's come to believe this herself. So I've had no alternative. I had to separate her from her people. I must admit, though, that my concerns were not entirely for her safety alone. The actions of Catherine and the moiety have put my own life at risk on numerous occasions. Consequently, the lives of all the people here. Therefore, I must ask you to refrain from any attempt to free her. Although I'm sure Atreus desires it. Indeed, he must desire it with all his heart. But he is completely unaware of her recent state. I know that you arrived in the Fifth Age with a book which was immediately stolen from you. Needless to say, its reacquisition is of interest to me, though my personal history with the moiety does not give me much hope for it. Still, there is a chance you might somehow manage to retrieve it. If you do, I would ask for the safety of all concerned that you bring it to me at your earliest opportunity. Again, to be honest, my reasons here are partly selfish. There is so much yet to be resolved between Atreus and myself, especially in light of what has become of Catherine. In any case, my immediate concern is the completion of the sanctuary I've long promised to all the islanders. In the meantime, as a token of my good intentions, I will allow you free access to my linking books, cruel though they may be, and to the rest of the Fifth Age.
Now, I'm not sure you ever actually get out of this cage.
As for the stolen linking book, we should probably not meet again until you've recovered it. I will know if you succeeded. We will await your return.
Like,
good luck with your search.
I don't think you ever get to go out of that door. I don't think you ever get out of this cage. Riven, for the most part, is a game designed to be just this single world, single age, even if it is multiple islands. Going from multiple ages and one island of MYST to one age with multiple islands is kind of flipping the script compared to the first game, MYST and Riven. I'm not sure I like flipping the script like that. I suppose it did eliminate a lot of transitions that we saw in the first game, where you'd click on a linking book and you would transition from one world to the other. However, it didn't just replace those transitions with vehicle transitions. The other issue that's a much bigger issue is there's just no believability of Gin. You really have no reason to trust Gin, even if the game has done very little to make you trust Atreus from the first game and the beginning of this game. But you know he's a bad guy. You saw in his own journal that he was acting as this godlike emperor of the people of Riven. Is still in recent days that line up with your own journal. So all you would have had to do is look at the dates in this journal compared to the dates in his own journal, and you knew he was still doing bad things. You can see that you probably would have figured out by yourself that he was sacrificing people. You saw people in the jail, so maybe if you didn't see those two elements, you could slightly believe that, but not really. And it just doesn't really feel like it's a true choice. The same is definitely true for MYST. There is red pages for one brother, blue pages for another. One brother clearly stark raving insane. The other brother calm, collected, reasonable. So if you pick, spoilers for the first game, the stark raving insane brother, it's no surprise that he betrays you. The only real surprise is that if you pick the calm, collected brother, he also betrays you, and it turns out that there was a third option all the way. I'm not sure there really is much of a third option here. Each one of these symbols relates to a location. So let's, I think, start with the one square and then go in a counterclockwise motion and see where all these books take us. I am fairly certain we've already been to all these locations, but maybe not. This takes us to this dome. I guess we don't need to really click on it. So do we have real reason to be here on this dome? Let's see where this goes. This takes us to perhaps a dome we haven't seen. We haven't been able to reach up until this point. Because there's like 2 domes on that big dome island apparently. The pictures are very helpful here. This takes us to the underground dome in Crater Island. I don't see any reason why you'd really want to go there. The only thing is, now that we have these linking books, we've just overlaid 5 shortcut accesses. Each of these books, by the way, says 5 in Dunny. This takes us to this dome, which I'm not sure why we'd want to go there. That's the laboratory island. And unless there was a number or order we were supposed to go through each of these things, I'm not. And see, this is the dome that we came in on. And if this was a modern game instead of a 21-year-old game, you'd probably get an achievement for going through each dome. But as it is, I guess we'll just start with one. There's some trick to this, but I don't know what it is. And see, that didn't really transition me as much as it just dropped me here. And you hit this foot switch and it locks away the linking book while also freeing you. He's incredibly paranoid. This might be Prison Island. Alright. So this might have been the one. And if I believe, just to double check, 21, 22, 14, 10, and 8. Did I not do that right? That's what I had written down. I may have done this It must not be 21 and 22. It must be 22 and 23. Uh-oh. If I don't know the code. Yeah. If I don't figure out the code, then I don't get back. Well, good thing I figured out the code. So, the general idea, I suppose, is that Catherine now is going to try and convince me something that I already wholeheartedly believe, that Gin is still evil after 30 years. If we hadn't seen any evidence to collaborate that, it would like make sense. And I guess if Catherine does act like a stark raving lunatic, that might hurt my belief in her a little bit. It is also possible that she just does not speak English. Here we have the spinner to open this. Why somebody wouldn't be able to figure out how to open that, I don't know. I don't see a real reason for it to have a code on top of a code. It's kind of an unimportant addition. Right. We have a bell and then 3 things. I haven't heard any sound like that. So if there's some kind of code, like if there's some kind of combination lock to unlock that, I haven't seen it yet. And that is definitely a different sound puzzle than the previous sound puzzle. And we keep getting in cages. Now we'll just hear Catherine's side of it, the story.
You made it.
She does speak English.
But how'd you get past Ken?
Notice the mirror just reflected her. That's kind of cool.
He must really believe I've gone mad. I know what he's doing. He's watching you.
Yep.
He's waiting for you to make a mistake.
Duh.
He's hoping you'll lead him back to Dunny.
Yep.
You can't let Ken. Atris sent you to save me.
Yes.
But if Ken gets back to Dunny, he'll kill him.
No, duh.
Find the moiety. They have the book. Be careful. Go then. If you won't help me, then I have nothing more to say.
And her reflection showed up in the mirror again. So she's the caged bird that doesn't sing. Still don't have mouse control back. And she just kind of walked by, and that played a cutscene and didn't give me enough time to click on anything. Let's see, is there anything actually to click on? No. And you can't even turn around. So she gives you like no information whatsoever. And helps you not a bit. But she fails to act like a stark raving lunatic. And that's the one thing that she would have had to do if she was going to convince me that I wasn't supposed to do the mission I was sent on to accomplish. Take for a moment, like most video game players, the first person to tell you to do anything is the person you're going to follow. So you're really going to have to break that idea if you're going to do something different. Right. I'm just going to play this 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Interesting. Yeah, there's a whole combination there. There's a whole puzzle. And this is annoying. Seriously, why not give me a physical key instead of making me solve this multiple times? Like, and as soon as I get this code memorized, I'll just be required to go somewhere else and do something different. Learn a different code. So back to this age that he wrote. Pyramids, like mountains on top of mountains. It's forcing me to look at the entire cutscene before I can go. And Gin doesn't want to talk to me until I have the book. And I won't have the book until I have the moieties. So that's where we went. Next step would be to just travel here. I mean, we might as well. It's as good as any other place to go. There's one place that would be a little bit quicker to go where we go. The thing here, we've hit an insanely high difficulty spike. It is now the time to solve the puzzle of the entire island. The most difficult, what I would call the final puzzle in the entire game. Let's walk this direction and call an elevator. The good news is I don't really have to solve the puzzle, but I'll explain it. Wait, I didn't actually ride the elevator, did I? That's what I needed to do. I've sort of done everything. Sort of. I might not actually be able to leave this island. Come to think of it. because of the way I adjusted things. Like, this path is blocked, and it doesn't really need to be blocked. This path, I guess I can go out through here. That works fine, because I don't really need to take this path up. Or I could save myself the frustration of rotating the rotating room and instead just hit this switch and go this way. And let's take a moment to point out that while these beetles and this text, if you learn the language, might tell you something, that they're not really important things at all. It just tells you more about like what Gin is up to, unless you were to translate those and say that that's not a depiction of Gin and possibly Atris, but a depiction of wouldn't it be crazy if I stepped in there and lost the game, but Catherine. We still don't have the code for this. We don't have the code to free her. And there's one more puzzle. As we jump. Did not mean to click on that. I'd prefer if a lot of these doors were just permanently open, so it didn't waste people's time. So get in this and travel. We've still got a decent distance in which we need to go. It's totally worth reminding everybody that I've played this game before. Otherwise, I would be wandering around completely confused. You're way more confused in Riven than you are in MYST. MYST keeps the islands and the things you can do in the islands much smaller and under control. Riven is just an insanely large thing. And they never really tried to do that again. They don't try to have a huge age with multiple puzzles. If anything, I would argue Uru tried to go in the other direction and make it so that you were on even smaller areas. So these are the Mortai puzzles. You have a sound and a number. You were supposed to have found 5 of those, which we did, to be fair, actually find. So, if I was to click on not these, not these, not these, where did I put the puzzles? They must be higher. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we found all 5 of them. The only thing then that we have to do is translate these sounds once you have the number. So this, if I bring up my cheat sheet in which I drew, that symbol is 3. So whatever an animal makes a sound would be the 3rd code. And that's insane. Just totally insane. It doesn't just require you to have found the number system. and found all of the balls. But it also requires you to have had the instance of running into all 5 of those animals while ignoring several other animals and sound effects, like this mosquito sound effect. Like, that's probably not one of them. Let's see where you set off the alarm again. I don't know why they specifically set off the alarm, but it isn't. It's almost like an indicator telling you the submarine has probably been reset. The funny thing here is you really don't find a hideout for the Moritai. Or, like, that could have been a whole island by itself. Instead. Hey, no. The submarine is still where I left it. Nice. Not that we need it. So once you find all of that stuff, you have to get over here. You have to open the prison. You have to go in the prison. I believe the hole for that prison is probably big enough for a human to get their head through anyways. And if you can get your head through a hole, you can get any other part of your body through it too. So it's not much of a prison. So you would have had to find the secret entrance in here, which there's no knife carving or like little symbol. Nothing that for even a second would imply that there was anything hidden there at all. A modern game would help us. And so we're back to the final puzzle. And this is where we were. And I'm just going to put in the answer according to the walkthrough. The first thing I need to put in is the fish that's a little triangular. So I don't see a fish on this row. Here it is. So a fish. The next thing I need to put in is a beetle that is just a kind of half dome thing. This, which in the sand pit that looked exactly like that, and I don't think we ever saw a beetle, so the solution to one part is different than the next part. We need to put in a frog, which is kind of roundish. Is this the frog? No. The frog I see on this picture is different. Here's the frog. Next we need to put in a what is called a sooner, which is the big creature that we've been seeing on the beach. Of course they would play a part in the puzzle. Let's see which, here it is. This is called the sooner. And the last thing we need to do is put in the work, which is the creature that they worship. And I believe that is it. And it's totally in line with that. And now it's just magically moving water around. in changing resonance. So like the sound is moving the water around to clear a path that was once blocked. To show me a linking book. Let's just look around at the water path. Interesting, the water is now just on that side. And so this is a burnt book taking us to a different age using a crystal. And this age is interesting because it was on the box, and it was like this huge thing that you were gonna see in the that you thought you'd spend a lot of time in the main game, but you really only spend about 5 seconds in there. I'm not even sure there's any non-cutscene element at all. It's interesting though that you could use a crystal or some pages overlapping to link to a different world, even if it is this weird tree prison hive world. But we have to watch the cutscene. It was an interesting idea. I believe you come back to this world in Uru for a brief second. I don't think you ever really do anything in it though. And we are looking at this like hive. You can see kind of birds flying around it. Seems like you'd be able to get in a boat or swim if our main character could swim. But I suppose they want me to just go. Like I can't even turn around. So was that the guy that stole my book and then got darted? Because they only had 2 actors? I think it was. And so you look at that pretty thing, you turn around, and you get darted. And now we're at a full screen, pretty poor resolution video. Very dark. Remember, this game just told you to adjust the contrast on your monitor. Although, to be fair, when you were using a CRT monitor, adjusting it with an analog dial probably was the only way you could have really worked with some of those, since they varied in quality and brightness so much. Not that TVs are very standard even to this day, or monitors are that standard in brightness. So we are here, and I guess we're looking up. There's like a pattern. It's like a cloth over you, but I don't think that's intentional. I think it's just some poor resolution. Let's see, we can lie down. We can look at the bowl. We can go over here. And we can see where they live in these tree huts like the others. Are we supposed to be listening for something? I don't think so. And I can't like jump out. And just walking back and forth in the room triggered a cutscene. He was supposed to just pace the room a couple times. She said, Catherine is in communication with them, and she told them to give the books back to you. And so we've had this one book, and now there's 2 more books. Let's see what this one is. This is not so much a book. It's a journal. And so it's back to reading time. I linked to Riven a week ago. The smell of the place overwhelmed my memories before I could do anything. With my, oh man, this handwriting's even worse than Gen's. With my sight only partially obscured, I cannot make out half of these words. Like, entire sentence here, can't read. Veil which deadly buffering, See, I don't know if this is Catherine's writing. I don't even know. I can't read any of it. And this was the problem. No subtitles, no way to bring this up in normal writing. So, whatever the story is, if this is Catherine's journal, which I assume it is being written in a different form than you normally would write a book in. Even if it was a special book, you wouldn't write it like this. Can't even read this part. Alright, quickly from my prison, I can read this a little bit better. Let's see. No, I still can't read this. And I'm not playing this up. This does say Catherine though, so we know this is Catherine's stuff. But you can't read this paragraph now, if any of that matters. It's saying, but don't signal him before I am released. So this is the important stuff. Let's see if we can really struggle through this. Let's see. Somebody will return your book, Neela, which the Moati confiscated upon your arrival. After questioning him, I've concluded that it was written by what's his name? Artemis. I forgot his name. The main guy that talked at the very beginning of the game, for a very specific purpose. Gin will desire to use it, although he may have suspected. If you can find my prison, you will still need the combination to release me. Gin keeps it in his office. Then I what? Then I blah blah blah. I were to something. I think I know how I might be done. Then I must signal Atlas, but don't signal him before I am released Catherine. See, then there's this picture of stuff, and because I can't read any of this, this might be evidence saying Catherine, like evidence that would point me to think Catherine is crazy, but like I can't read any of it. The slant and the cursive and the fact that she's writing in English is a little weird too, because then that means she's coding it so that her own people, the Moriarty, can't read it. And there's some pictures here, and it seems like she might be manipulating the Moriarty. Seems like there's maybe some pictures each dedicated to a part where one of the code balls might have been placed. Of course, that wouldn't really help now, since we've already solved that puzzle. I am something, I am blank. What is this? This is the telescope, and this is the code for the telescope. So we do need to make a special save just here for that. And in all honesty, I could probably figure this out pretty quickly, since this code is probably not the same for everybody. It would be 31134. So maybe I can write that down. 1134, and that will work pretty well. So now we know how to open the telescope and look down the telescope for whatever that's worth. But since I can't read any of this, I mean, I just have to keep banging that over. It's like, why not pay Catherine to voice this and explain all of those lines of dialogue to you? Or just voice it as you're reading each page. That wouldn't have been that much of a voice file, really. And there's all kinds of things here that are probably explaining the world we're in right now and explaining all of that away. There seems to be this implication that there was some kind of giant creature that used the knife, or giant mechanical creature that used the knife to make the fissure. That's not, I believe, what actually happened. And then what have we got here? Is a book. Like this could be step for step instructions on how to finish the game correctly. Don't have a clue. Do not have a clue. And let's see. Before we do anything, let's have a little bit of fun here. Let's see, what was our last save of consequences? It's probably this. So we'll save over 7. And this looks like it's a linking book to Dunny. And if you click on it, you get trapped in the book, and you get this bad ending. Because we knew, of course, that this this book was a trap book. And it seems like they're gonna burn it. And that goes straight to credits. And I don't think I can actually load because I'm in the middle of a cutscene. Interesting. Well, that's a little problematic if I was going to do silly endings like that. Because that's certainly not something here. You can see Rand Miller and Ryan Miller, and Robin Miller, the entire Miller family, doing a lot of work on this game. Atris, that's the name that Rand Miller plays. Well, that's gonna be it for this recording. We'll load back to where we were and continue from there. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me, gift me a game on Steam. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.